Okay, go for it, guys. Name,
Awesome.
address, everything.
Address.
Phone number. I'm Cameron Harrison, mechanical engineer and ex-bike racer. We started a business in corporate bicycle servicing. So we service bicycles in corporate office blocks around Sydney and Brisbane and a little bit in Melbourne.
I'm Thomas Trelaw. I got a history in event management and a bit of the tech world. And yeah, we started the business 2 years ago. So, both saw that there was a need for bike servicing in all the corporates. Everyone started riding to work. There's about 5.1% as of 2013 people commute to work. So quite a big market in there for us to work on.
I think I saw it. Did I see you guys, or did we talk about you guys in the UberPITCH?
We've talked about them in the
Okay,
UberPITCH,
right. Pitch it up. Who's going to talk to us?
All right, so one of these vans can basically net $72,000 a year profit, obviously, and then there's, as Thomas talked about, 5.1% of the population commute as of 2013.
Just watch the tapping.
They're tapping.
Yeah,
Okay,
the microphone picks up.
All right, no tapping. So 5.1% of the population commute. It's up to 1 million people. It's a huge market. So what we're trying to do now is scale our business. So we've currently, myself and Thomas work full time. We've got someone in the office.
You haven't told us what your business is yet.
Sorry?
You haven't told us what your business is.
Oh, we do corporate bicycle servicing. So we
Okay.
do corporate service packages for all the major corporations.
What does it
in
mean,
Sydney.
though? What does that mean?
Well, that means that the end-of-trip facilities that are being built in the 6-star A-class buildings, for example, Chifley Tower is one of our best customers. They have a huge end-of-trip facility, over 200 bike racks, showers, facilities. So we come in on a quarterly and monthly basis and service people's bicycles while they're at their office.
Right,
So,
got it. So we've got my building too.
Is it the individual pay or the corporate pays?
It depends.
Both.
About half of our buildings, we've got 20 buildings in Sydney and 17 in Brisbane. Half of them pay for the servicing. So Chifley Tower see the benefits of having healthy cyclists, and they want to be the best building. So they pay, basic service fee is about half the price of a normal service, and we get 30 bikes at a time, go in there, service them, and then the customers also pay extra whatever it is for all the parts and stuff like that.
parts
So
and those kind of things.
Okay, so the problem being is that people have got nowhere to put their bikes, and now they've big buildings worked out. Let's give them somewhere to put their bikes. Like the building I'm in, Chifley Square, across the road from Chifley Tower, and I see that there's lots of bike racks there now, and like cages and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is the big problem that the consumer has is that their bikes need to be looked after.
of course,
100%.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
no one wants to
And
spend
the
their
solution is-
Saturday- Yeah.
Solution is you guys offer that to either the people who own the building or to the individuals who own the bikes,
Yep.
and or both, and you go and service these bikes once a
Once a quarter.
Once a
We
quarter.
recommend, once every 3 months. It's a huge, everyone thinks that you get your bike serviced maybe once a year. So often people go, I had it serviced pretty recently, and like a year ago. And that's because your car, you think it's like once a year, but your bike needs a service every 3 months.
And what do you charge for that?
Well, individuals, it's about $119 for a general service, but our average cost per individual is $212 per service. But then the buildings,
It's subsidised by the building for most of our buildings.
So
Right.
it's cheaper to drive a car, you're telling me.
it isn't because
It isn't because to park in Chifley Tower costs you $80 a day.
Yeah. Kidding you.
Oh, right. But, not everyone knows that.
But a lot of people think that, the efforts, might buy a bike for $5,000 and they go, oh, it's too much money. But there's so many additional values of riding a bike, healthy and more productive. The list goes on of why cycling's good. And
And people riding electric bikes, e-bikes.
yeah, everyone loves them.
Yeah, I've got one.
You
I've got
got
two.
Yeah.
Yeah, we absolutely.
Do you know
love
that,
them.
Nick? I've got two up at the farm. Yeah.
I can't
you
believe
guys
that
will
a
service
building.
those as well?
Johnny?
Yeah,
so-
so that's a huge part of it and a massive growing market. It's the fastest growing market in in Europe and America as well as here.
Is that like pedal and electric or
Yeah, and
only
the e-bikes
electric?
are pedal electric, so it's both. So you give sort of
Pedal
enhances your-
assist.
Yeah,
pedal
and so
assist.
enhances your pedaling power.
Yeah.
The biggest
quite a
problem
big-
with
quite a
them
lot though.
is that they do have a big battery pack and they can weigh up to 24, 25 kilos. So
Back to the business. So
Yeah.
you want to buy a lot of these vans, is that what we're hearing?
yeah, we need to
How many
scale the
vans?
business.
If you had the best business ever, how many of these vans could you handle in Australia?
I would think about 25.
25 vans.
Yeah. You do 6 to 10 in Sydney alone. That's just CBD. You've got Parramatta as well, which is a huge hub. That's booming. Brisbane's really good. There's great cycling infrastructure up
So you
there.
talked about 70 grand profit. Is that before or after the customer acquisition?
That's, well, at the moment, our customer acquisition is
Exceeding our ability to service them.
No, but in terms of cost, though.
in terms of cost, it'd be super low. We haven't spent any money on marketing. We
So
haven't.
there's no.
So
yeah.
they got some organic. It
Super
sounds like you got some organic
organic,
growth.
Organic growth, yeah, because of the marketplace is the towers, the corporate towers. So you can get up to 200-300 cyclists in one place, and then you get the service package to facilitate that service. So there's signage through the lift screens in the end of trip facility. It's all done on the building is actually funding that. So that costs us no money in marketing. They're providing this service to their tenants.
So,
you got
what's the revenue though? 70 grand profit. How much revenue can a van do in a year? And that's at full capacity, I suspect.
Yeah, well, that's
conservative.
Is it?
4 days a week 30 weeks a year. So that's how we
What,
70 grand.
what revenue is it?
Well, per van, it's probably
Well,
around
we're making about 40% or something. Yeah.
40%. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So
But
that's,
we're
So
not
what- so
Call
we-
it
we-
revenue 5 million a year,
Yeah.
profit somewhere around 2 million a year.
We're not
Yeah.
looking
So
for any
what
investment.
beyond that? I mean, there's,
Yeah, how
you're
far
not going
can you
to you're not going to interest the guys around the table here at that sort of money. And I'm not saying that
Well,
that's who
we're
you're
not
pitching
interested.
to, but
So-
yeah.
what happens after the 25 vans where you got them in the CBD doing all of that? I mean, do you go to the individuals' houses and do that sort of thing? Is
Yeah,
there
we do
something
quite a
more
bit
you
of
can-
that already, but it's not very profitable because you're driving around, you got traffic, all that stuff. You know, you just want to.
Can't get scale.
You can't scale. It's not
is it an
possible.
international play? I
There-
don't know.
yeah.
Where do you go beyond $5 million revenue,
How do you
2
make it
million
a
profit?
I tell you what, we've talked briefly about it. I haven't talked about it for a long time, but then you go towards that like NRMA model.
Yep.
You get conscription, people going like, cycling is growing massively, and if you're halfway commuting between here and Chatswood, and you get a flat tire, and you're halfway to work, and it's like, okay, well, I've got this, and you partner with someone, and then once you have that, the scalability and the number of vans on the road, then you have a call
really
center,
easy.
and you
Plug
have
it
that
in.
really easy to do that, and then you have that additional revenue like an NRMA. Like, how often do you use the NRMA? No, but you pay your $200 every year, regardless, and then they come out once every.
What's a van cost? How long till it pays itself off?
Well, at the moment, like we lease
Yeah.
everything, so our first van we bought it for 10K, and then that was like a good little our first step, and then it pays itself off pretty quickly with the margins are really good on a service. It's all labor at the moment. You do all the work yourself, and
So is a van like an NRMA van?
It's not called. It's all appointment based servicing.
No, sorry, is the van like an NRMA van?
Yes.
Yeah.
About that
Essentially-
size.
Essentially, it's
Like
like a
some-
Volkswagen Caddy with a full workshop in the back and 695 parts.
So how much money are you looking for? What are you looking to do here? What are you asking?
we're not looking. We want mechanics. Our biggest problem is
Well, none of us can do that.
I've tried it, doesn't work.
we just signed up Barangaroo. They got 1,100 bike racks. It's absolutely huge. 22 change rooms. We've got so much work.
You talking about
coming.
the Westpac building? You talking about
Yeah.
the whole-
And they paid, Barangaroo paid.
No, they're not paying us individual pays, but when you have so many bikes, you just turn up and.
And that's
we've got
interesting
bike
because
shop.
those out of town places, it's hard to get a Barangaroo. So you've got to ride your bike there. Or it's
Yep.
easier to ride your bike there. So,
So you guys are profitable. You can scale yourselves. You need
Yeah.
bike mechanics.
That's
We
our
essentially
biggest
need
problem.
advice on how to grow a business.
So you don't want money. I can take this check home with me.
No, we'll take it. It would
yeah.
be nice to give ourselves a bit of a bonus
Yeah.
or something. So.
Okay.
No, but we're going really well. Like, super happy with how the business is. Like, it's profitable. Like, everything is looking good. We've had some good challenges over the way. Like, it definitely hasn't been an easy road. We're not saying that, but we just want a bit of help with getting a good mechanic. Lots of them is really tough.
Bike mechanics.
Bike mechanics.
There's such a thing.
Wouldn't
is
it be cyclists that make the best
There's actually
bike
no
mechanics? I would have thought.
in Australia. There's no accreditation. There's no TAFE
Yeah.
course. There's nothing. Like, there's the only thing is like word of mouth, and like we've hired plenty of people. Who
How hard is
turned
it to put a chain on and connect the brakes and
It's
whatever?
not hard, but it's hard to find someone who's presentable, talks to the customer really well, and then also really knows their way around a bike. Like, you go to a car mechanic, that bloke's generally pretty dirty, doesn't really want to talk to you, like all the stereotypes. And it's the same with a bike
Isn't
mechanic.
the customer at work?
No, they still collect the bike. You still
still
talk to you
interface
about
with
your
them.
bike. This
Really?
is, you've ridden X amount. You need to replace.
I've
the
seen these
chain.
guys in my office. They've done actually Pasky's bike.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
one day
Poor bike.
Pasky's. Yeah.
Has he got like a
a
three-wheeler
big
or something
unit.
to support his
But
load?
one day he said to me, he goes, I've got to get downstairs. I've got this bike mechanic fixing my bike. I went, what do you mean bike mechanic?
that seat would
Sure enough, he's
disappear.
riding it up and down Dank Street, testing it out.
We'll hate to be the seat.
Yeah,
So where do you? I mean, why don't you sort of set up some sort of academy of bike mechanics or something?
I was
I mean,
going to say that. That's the
Well,
growth of.
But there's some
bike
growth.
mechanics
Like
school.
we'd need some capital for that. Obviously, it's like outside the business.
but could you guys run something like that, a bike
Yeah, we
mechanics
could,
school?
definitely.
Yeah,
There's
for
and
sure.
other bike shops are doing that. 99 bikes. funded heavily by
Yep.
Flight Centre. You know, they've started their own academy, and yeah, it's to educate bike mechanics, but it's really just for them to find staff. you
Find
know.
staff.
The last thing you want to do is educate the bike riders to become bike mechanics, so because you could lose your market.
Johnny's got a fly
Okay,
out
well,
sense,
okay,
yeah.
guys, it's great stuff. I like the problem. I like the solution. It has a good overall feel.